Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video today, and before I start, I just want to make it very clear that if you're triggered by watching somebody smoke a cigarette, as I'm doing right now, then click off this video right now. It's not for you. I don't want you to feel triggered. I don't want you to succumb to urges that you're having. So if you can't handle watching someone smoke a cigarette, click off now. So I felt the need to make this video primarily because of the feeling that smoking brings to your health and well-being, and how devastating it actually is, but how also over time you forget how bad it makes you feel. You forget about certain aches and pains that you have. You don't even realize that you've developed a smoker's cough in only just a few weeks of smoking. So I'm making this video more for myself, but also to share my feelings about this with anybody else who chooses to listen or wants to hear it. But right now, I'm about a week and a half into smoking again. I failed my most recent attempt at quitting, as I have the last several times. But since I started smoking again, I started noticing the negative things about smoking. That if I was to continue for another few weeks or a month or a year, I would forget. You know, I've always had a problem trying to relate to people how much healthier I feel when I'm not smoking, because I forget how bad it makes me feel. And that is why this video is being made. So like right now, I've already developed a smoker's cough again. I'll just randomly just cough throughout the day. I'll cough when I go to sleep at night and lay down, just a couple times, but nonetheless it's developing into a regular cough again. And this is only a week and a half in. Another thing I've noticed is the tension in the throat, and almost like that feeling of having like a ball in your throat all the time, because of the sucking motion of smoking a cigarette and always tensing up these muscles right here, that it always feels like there's, like I said, like a lump in your throat. And that tension goes all the way down into the chest area, because obviously your lungs hate you for smoking. So, my lungs are tense and they feel they almost have like a brittle feeling to them. Almost like I could just crinkle and crush little tiny pieces at a time. It's kind of disgusting. I am already waking up in the mornings with that pain in the mid-back, which I know is from smoking. I haven't had that feeling in months, since I quit. And now that I've started smoking again and it's starting to get in my system and I'm starting to beat up my lungs a little bit, I'll wake up in the morning with back pain. Another thing I'm noticing is that my breaths aren't quite as deep as they were just a couple of weeks ago. Because, without smoking, my lungs were healing. So obviously my capacity in my lungs was getting greater. I could hold my breath longer. I could hold notes longer when I was singing. But now that I've started smoking again, my breath isn't as deep and I can't hold it as strongly. And I have this overall feeling of just crap. I feel like shit. I feel like I'm sick every day. And I know the reason for that is not just because I'm smoking, but because I'm smoking more than I did ever before. See, I've noticed that every single time I come back and start smoking again, I smoke a little heavier than where I left off. And it's probably my mind, just trying to deal with the idea that, hey, he might stop this again one day. So I start overindulging. So I'm smoking pretty much right at a pack a day now, which is not good, but it's helping me notice more the problems that it's really causing for me. And aside from all of that, of course, my clothes smell. I can smell it when I get in my car. I can smell it when I'm walking towards my house, because I smoke at my front door on the inside of the house, so I smell it in that front door entry when I come home. But see, over time, I'm going to get used to that, and I'm not going to smell it anymore. And all of these pains and aches that I'm feeling, and the discomfort in the throat, and the taste in my mouth, all that's going to go away if I continue smoking. I will completely forget how bad it makes me feel, but the thing is, it's still affecting me. So I'm not even going to realize that I'm living every single day just feeling like trash. So a note to myself, you remember this feeling. You remember this. When you quit smoking again and you try to stay from ever smoking again, remember this. And there's also the question that some of you might have, which is, well, if it bothers you so much and you seem to dislike it so much, then why do you do it? Well, the thing is, I don't dislike it. I do like the feeling of smoking. I just don't like the side effects. And it's not even side effects, it's damaging to my health. I don't like the damage to my health that's occurring, but I like smoking. And once again, smoking is more of a mental issue. Because again, I've gotten over the hump of when I've quit before. I've gotten over the hump of not having nicotine in my system anymore. And it's just always the thought process of wanting to pick up a cigarette and smoke. Soothing, comfort, blowing smoke out. But it's a coping mechanism for me, as it is for a lot of you, I'm sure, that keeps me coming back to it. So it's a lot tougher. It's easier to say than to do in terms of quitting smoking. Obviously, if you write everything down on paper, you might have 1 or 2 lines of good about it and pages worth of bad about it. But damn it, it is such a hard habit to kick. So once again, if you are not a smoker, don't start smoking. And hear me being a hypocrite, but I don't want you to go through the same thing that I'm going through. And if you are somebody like me who's going through the quitting process and trying to stay quit, just think about this video. Think about everything I've told you about cigarette smoking in the past and the fears and the health problems that I had potentially due to smoking. And just think of the long-term permanent damage you can do by smoking, and just don't pick it up again. Don't smoke. Don't do as I do. Put the cigarettes down and just be done with it. There's other coping mechanisms, and there are some coping mechanisms that are not healthy. Like I almost started drinking regularly because of when I quit smoking. So you don't want to fall into something else that's bad. There are constructive things you can do, and even though you don't want to accept it, just as I didn't want to accept it because I just don't feel like doing those things, I wanted to smoke a cigarette, you got to change your mindset, and you have to use your willpower and just focus on being smoke-free and finding something else to fill that void. Put them down, guys, and don't do it anymore.